Hey everybody, this is a special little public service announcement from Beer Brackets. We wanted to come on and say before this review, this very, very special review that we hope you stick around for. Alessandro, I don't know about you, but when we hit 10 subscribers, when we hit double digits, I was extremely excited. For two guys who just loved having beers together, loved opening and closing our beer brackets together, and talking about beer, and went on this crazy journey to start recording it and putting it on YouTube. Getting anybody who wanted to watch our videos was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so I think, we're still a very, very small channel, and we just recently hit 300. And for us, while that's still in the grand scheme of YouTube, a minuscule channel, and that's nothing, for us, it means everything. Because we've been doing this for fun and out of the passion for it, and we never expected that many people to want to watch what we do. So we really appreciate it. But 300 is a pretty cool number, Alessandro. And 300 has a lot of implications and can be related back to a lot of events throughout history.
It definitely does. 300. Can you imagine that? It's like in the movie. All of a sudden you're turning and you see all this sea of people, and they're all there like with their beer saying like, let's open the beer brackets. That's incredible. Don't you think so?
It's pretty amazing. So guys, to whoever were the first 300, we want to label you as something special. And so from this point on, we would like the first 300 to be known as the Beer Explorers. And you'll learn a little bit more about what it entails to be a beer explorer moving forward. So please stay tuned. I'm going to put our contact email address here on the screen. I would encourage anybody, if you were one of those first 300, please reach out to us, and we have something special, a little something special planned moving forward. We'd love to talk to you. So get in touch. Please do. So to our first 300 beer explorers, cheers to you. Who knows where this channel is going to go from here, but you guys are the ones that kind of pushed us along at this point to realize, okay, well, people are interested in what we have to say, and maybe there is an interest in the beer world out there for what we are doing here. So cheers to you.
Cheers to you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome back to Beer Brackets, everybody, and welcome back to, I can confidently say, the greatest YouTube channel of all time about beer, featuring a guy from Canada and an Italian expat living in the southern US. I can confidently say, today we are starting our lead up, our celebration to Oktoberfest.
Yes, I can't wait. Like, this is, in beer world and beer year, this is a big time. So yes, I can't wait to start celebrating here.
I mean, you've already seen our Inside the Brackets episode diving deep into what is Oktoberfest. So now we're continuing on with that, and we're going to look at the Hofbräu brewery. Now, the Hofbräu brewery is extremely interesting. We're not jumping right into their Oktoberfest beer just yet. We can't talk about Hofbräu without looking at the original, but still within the theme of Oktoberfest. The Hofbräu brewery is one of 6 Munich-based breweries that are traditionally extremely exclusively involved in Munich Oktoberfest celebrations. So they've got their name plastered all over traditional Oktoberfest. So we couldn't talk about them without going into their original. Alessandro, do you know what that name Hofbräu refers to?
I definitely know that it's connected to the Hofbräu brewery that is located in Munich. That brewery has so much tradition. Like, some of their halls are some of the most spectacular that attract tourists from all around. And you can't really, if you go to Munich, you kind of have to see those.
Exactly, the Hofbräu house. And the name Hofbräu is actually a German word that refers to cafeteria style eating or serving people food and drink within a large communal space. So the Hofbräu house, which you just talked about, looks pretty awesome. I've never been, but it's, a big traditional spot for celebrating Oktoberfest in Munich, and it is, the headquarters for Hofbräu. So there you go. And you can see the Hofbräu house on the label there. That's what that building is. My friend, I am excited to get into this Oktoberfest spirit. Shall we crack these open and pour them out?
Yes, let's do it.
Look at that. What a beautiful, beautiful golden Oktoberfest beer.
Look at that.
Oh, that aroma is interesting. I'll let you start. Let me know what you think about the aroma.
Ooh, interesting. We were just saying right before filming here that you both haven't had this beer in quite a while, so it was going to be interesting to see all the different categories. And starting right off the bat, like this aroma, ooh, it has like a combination of like that. First thing that I think of is bread, like freshly baked bread. Like that malt is just so crisp and clean and nice. The hops come across like quite nicely, very gentle. It really smells a little bit like freshly cut grass to me. That smell that you get in the summer, and then you're walking.
Really?
So imagine like you're walking by a bakery and they just cut the grass like next to it. Like that's kind of like that combination of two that I'm getting, and it's so gentle and refreshing. That's
interesting. Freshly cut grass.
That's nice. I gotta give it a 3 here right off the bat.
The Hofbräu original right off the bat. You know what's interesting about this beer? I mean, it's 5.1% alcohol. So for this style of beer, I mean, it's right there on the average. So it's not any stronger. It's not any weaker than standard beers of this style, but it has a much stronger aroma, which is, I'm so tempted to take a sip. You see that muscle memory? I keep almost going in for the sips. It's so delicious.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. It's muscle memory, man. I keep just like putting it to my mouth and going in for it. I must resist. Patience. I mean, I see what you mean about the freshly cut grass. I'm getting actually a little bit of fruitiness off the aroma as well. I mean, it's very malt, it's very bread forward, of course, as you would expect. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what kind of fruit I'm getting off that, but it is very fruity and a little spicy as well. Almost like a little bit of oregano and a little bit of thyme. Actually, thyme might be the closest spice to what I can get off of it here.
I can see that.
Yeah, maybe a little apple, a little red apple. It's delicious. It's a 3-on-3 aroma for me too. And I don't want to rush through this, but I want to go right in for a taste. My friend, cheers.
Cheers.
Happy beginning to Oktoberfest. Let me know what you think after taking a sip. Yes, that is delicious.
Wow. So taste. Ooh.
Yeah. Tell me.
That's surprising. It hits you first with that maltiness. Like it's quite prominent, I would say, throughout the whole experience. But what I find interesting is that on the taste, even more than on the nose, that spice that you were kind of like mentioning, herbal character, let's call it, like to be general,
herbal character,
comes across
Fair
almost
enough.
Like I think thyme and oregano are good like descriptors in a sense. Like it's almost like bread that has those oregano, rosemary maybe would fit also. So you take a
like
bite
focaccia
out of this loaf and you have all this explosion of herbs that comes across. Like, and wow, that's refreshing, slightly acidic, but and the bitterness, it's just there to balance out the maltiness.
Yeah.
That's quite of an experience. As far as lager goes, this is it's got to stick to a 3 for me at least. Like it's quite delicious.
Please correct me because my Italian's a little rusty. What is that white? It's sort of like a white pizza. So it's a bread with spices with thyme on focaccia.
Focaccia. That's perfect. Yes,
focaccia.
That's exactly what I was thinking about. Like the focaccia
there you
with
go.
Rosemary and oregano on. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking as well, smelling, and I was trying to put my finger on it. Then when you described sort of like, the breadiness combined with those spices, with the thyme, with the rose, when you said rosemary, that's what tipped me off.
Yep.
It's like, focaccia beer. You gave it a 3-on-3 for taste. I don't know if I'm going to be too far behind. It's very unassuming and it's very straightforward. Everything that you get off the aroma, you get off the taste. There's nothing new there. There's nothing hidden. There's no surprises. I can't wait to talk about the finish on this beer. As far as lagers go, this is definitely a 3-on-3. There is a good amount of maltiness. There's a little bit of that spiciness that's there as well to give it a bit of depth, to give it another layer to play with. It's a 3-on-3, man. So what do you think about the mouthfeel?
So I was, while you were kind of like going through there, the taste, I was trying to concentrate a little bit and see if I could get any more elements out of the beer. But I'd say on the mouthfeel, it's interesting how it's extremely light. I mean,
it is, right?
It has that, the carbonation is there, but it's maybe we should refresh it. Like, I almost forgot.
It's a beer bracket tradition, my friend.
That might be why I wasn't completely, on point here.
To be an accurate beer barometer, the barometer must be properly lubricated.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, the carbonation is there. It comes across like very light. There is very little of that like oily stickiness, and it comes like it finishes like in terms of mouthfeel like very light as well. But I will say it does linger a little bit. So while the stickiness and oiliness is not like there like as beers that we've tried before, mouthfeel for me is where it falls a little bit short in the sense that like I can't really quite give it a 3. So I'm going to stick with a high 2.
A high 2. Yeah, the carbonation is probably maybe about a 4/10. Maybe you could push it to a 5/10 on the carbonation scale. Aside from that, like you said, it's not too oily. There's nothing offensive in the mouthfeel. No. There's nothing that lingers that turns you off. It's extremely refreshing. It makes you want to go in for another sip. I think this is very sessionable. I can imagine drinking quite a few of these if the opportunity would arise. I think I'm going to agree with you. I think 2-on-3 is a good spot for it. It's not quite a 3-on-3. There isn't anything very unique or anything too complex there that makes it stand apart for a perfect 3-on-3, but it's an easy 2. So now finish. Finish gets a little interesting with this one. What do you think?
So finish. And I was thinking again here, that's probably where my mind was getting distracted a little bit by the finish, because like you said, the finish has a lot. And I like how we kind of like both like landed on that rosemary as a note, because I think the more I think about it and the more that herbal note, that spice note that I couldn't really pinpoint at first, that's what it is. And on the finish, it kind of showcases, it's almost coming across as that little bitterness that is brought down by the maltiness that sticks around. Out of a lot of beers that we've had, I find that in this one here, the maltiness sticks around for quite a long time. It's right there.
It does, yeah, it does.
And it sticks around and it comes back, and little hints in a very refreshing way. So you can't wait to get back, like you said. And to me, that's a sign of greatness. So 3-on-3 on finish for me.
I got to take another little refresher. We'll bring up focaccia again for anybody who might not have tried it. Here's another beautiful picture of focaccia. Look at that. Doesn't that look delicious? So you get this wonderfully fresh, bouncy dough, well seasoned with some nice oil on there, some nice fresh olive oil. And then you have an assortment of spices. You have basil, thyme, rosemary. And so I'm getting all those elements, and I think focaccia is the perfect comparison here, because I get a little bit of oiliness, almost like a little bit of I guess I could pinpoint as maybe butter or as an olive oil, something that's kind of savory, oily in that sense that I'm getting on the finish as a very, very slight taste. But it's all very light and it's all wrapped together in a very interesting way that makes it really refreshing on the palate. It's a 3-on-3 finish for me as well, my friend. I think we're in complete agreement on this all the way through so far. So as an overall experience, for the Hofbräu Original, we will be getting to the Oktoberfest. So that will be upcoming in the next week as part of our Oktoberfest celebration. But for the original Hofbräu Munich lager, what would you say as an overall experience?
I'm thinking, and at first I thought I might be a little torn here between two, but the more I think about it and the more I am sure like this is a 3-on-3 experience for me. So while on the mouthfeel, like it fell a little short, overall, like that breadiness, that like nice herbal notes, perfectly balanced in between the overall experience and being so refreshing. I mean, I can't but give it a 3. It's a delicious beer. What do you think, my friend?
I'm a little torn here. Obviously, the history of this beer stands alone. It speaks for itself. The status of this beer in not only the Oktoberfest world or the German beer world, but just in general, internationally, it's very well renowned. And it's obviously very delicious. I gave its 3 out of 4 3-on-3 ratings leading up to the overall so far. So I'm thinking right now, is it worth a 3-on-3 overall experience? And I look back on all the 3-on-3s I've given in the past, my friend. I think for me to be a 3-on-3 overall experience, there needs to be something spectacular about it. There needs to be something unique about it. There needs to be something that stands out. As good as this is and delicious as it is, I think as an overall experience, and this is where our own subjectivity comes into it as well, right? I think I'm going to give it a 2-on-3 as an overall experience, just because it's solid, it's delicious, it's very good. Does it stand apart in a group of its own to be a 3-on-3 experience for me? Not quite, but that's not a bad thing. That's not a knock on it.
But that's the beauty also of it, like in comparing the beer, like that we all come, like you said, with different subjectivity within the tasting. And that's perfectly fine, because ultimately we're just sitting here having a beer together, and we might defer an opinion on if we're splitting hairs and analyzing it, but ultimately that's the beauty of beer. There's something for everybody.
So calculating our final scores, guys, for me, it came out to a 4.33 on 5, which in our rating scale is an outstanding beer. And it was. This was an outstanding beer. And for Alessandro, it was higher, 4.66 on 5, which is still in the outstanding beer category. I am so excited to move on to their Oktoberfest now and see just how their Oktoberfest beer compares to the original. I'm excited to find out. Guys, if you haven't seen yet, check out our Inside the Bracket video on what is Oktoberfest and what is the Oktoberfest style of beer. If you haven't seen that yet, it'll be in the suggested videos at the end here. I'll put a link to it down below. Go check it out.
Cheers to you, my friend.
Always a pleasure. We'll see you guys soon as we journey through the world of Oktoberfest and tackle the beers that make it what it is.
And don't forget to close your beer brackets.
Never forget. Don't forget to close your Oktoberfest beer brackets. Cheers, everyone.